In the right place with the right people. Who do I have joining me today? My name is Alex Kutsishin, co-founder, CEO here at Sales Boomerang. I have one of my close friends and great associates from this space and CEO and founder of Insellerate, Mr. Josh Friend. Thank you for joining us today, Josh.
Very excited to be here as always, Alex.
We're cheering you on, my friend. And then, of course, another friend and associate and customer, and just one of the most inspirational people in mortgage for me. The way he thinks about business, the way he thinks about processes and systems, and getting to a destination. Mr. Nick Rutherford, Vice President over at Homestead Funding and McGlone Mortgage Group. Nick, thank you for joining us.
Hey, thank you. I'm super excited. These are my two favorite people in the industry to do this stuff with. So I think we're going to have a ton of fun today. Absolutely.
Cheering you on too. All right. Well, let's get the ball rolling. You guys see we're having fun. We got cheering, applause, music, the whole thing. Keep your eyes peeled, because you guys, if you've joined any of our webinars this year and any conversations we have, you know, we like to engage with you first and right away. So this is a cool question. I want to hear everyone's answer to this question. So if you're not looking at the screen, look at the screen. Do you have a borrower retention strategy that's working? Listen to the words, that is working. The average retention rates, and now Black Knight only talks about, like, you know, retention of portfolio. So you have to take part of this with a grain of salt, is around 18%, which is better than 2017 and 18, where we saw them around 14, 15%. So that's good. But what's your retention? Is it working, right? Do you have one, and is it working? Here we go. Wow, very good. I love the honesty. Love the honesty. So 50% of you said, I have no idea. And the other 50% of you said, no, this is a problem. Well, great. You've come to the right place. Now watch this. The fact that no one said, yes, we're killing it, is great, because you're in the right place to learn these things. But watch this next question. This is a great next poll question. This is what separates great retention strategies and business strategies versus good retention strategies or practices. You know, as we're waiting for their answers, Josh, what do you think about this? Like, how many people do you think consider their customer base, their database, leads, turn downs, and not just customers?
Unfortunately, I would say very few lenders do that. You know, and the reality is, once someone's they've become a hand raiser, they've spoken to you, they've taken an application, especially they've taken an application, they've given you some intimate details, their social security number, right? When someone's actually connected with you, whether they buy from you today or not, they should be a customer of yours in the next 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. You know, the lenders that do this well, the ones that, you know, they're the big brands that we see now.
That's exactly right. The ones that do it the most successfully treat their customers like a retail store. Here's what I mean by that, guys, everyone that's listening. And I see there's still some answers coming in. 67% of you say yes, congratulations. That is definitely a pleasant surprise. But think about this. Let's take this outside of mortgage for just a minute. An organization like Target, Nordstrom's, when you walk into their store and you have a question, and you hear over the announcement that somebody has a question, they don't say a guy in a white shirt has a question. They say a customer in aisle 5 has a question, but they call you a customer and you haven't even spent a dime yet, right? So it's important that you hear that, and what you're hearing is the mentality shift. The 33% of you that said no, if nothing else, you don't get anything else out of this conversation, just acknowledging that your pipeline, your leads, your turndowns, they're all part of your customer base, and retention pertains to all of that, not just the people that you've done loans with. You're going to see a huge spike in success just by shifting that philosophy and incorporating that philosophy into the conversations you're having with your team. So fantastic. I love the engagement, guys. Keep it going. You're going to see us ask some questions and things for you to join in the conversation and chat. Let's throw it to the panelists, to our group here. Nick, what has been the biggest impact for you with the combination of Sales Boomerang and Insellerate?
Yeah, for sure. Let's just, if we want to roll back to the last poll question for a second, like, think about it this way. If you're not looking at everyone who raises their hand When they fill out a lead form, they're an application, they're a turn down. At McGlone last year on our consumer direct channel, in a really good year, we bought 33,000 leads. We funded 4,500. If your retention strategy is around 4,500 pieces of data and not 33,000, think of all of the missed opportunities there. And with technology like Sales Boomerang, like some other things that you're going to want to layer on, like Insellerate, you have an opportunity to reach out and stay in front of 33,000 instead of coming up with a strategy around 4,500. So, I mean, that's really the biggest thing. With CRM and Sales Boomerang, you're taking now in real time, a piece of data comes into our system from a lead source that we buy, from our website, from any other marketing that we're doing. It's in CRM immediately. It's getting automated. It's getting into a call cadence. It's getting into somebody's hands to reach out to that borrower. And then at the same time, we're sending it to Sales Boomerang in real time. So if you guys aren't doing that, if you're Sales Boomerang customers or you're thinking about signing on, we do it in real time. The second a new lead hits, it's going into Mortgage Inquiry Watch. We're going to start monitoring if they get their credit pulled. And that's on leads, that's on funded loans, everything that touches the system, real-time integration. So now we have good, clean data, we're marketing, and we're doing it the second that data becomes impactful to our organization.
Josh, I love what Nick just said about, we bought this many leads.
Yep.
And now we have 4,500 of them as customers, the rest are not. And if we didn't look at them as customers, we would have to go and continue to buy all the leads to try to, catch up to our numbers, to make our number. We have to keep buying. And what Nick is saying is like, no, we're putting this inside Insellerate. Insellerate is bringing it to life, connecting it to Sales Boomerang. What's your thoughts there? I feel like that's like a must-have strategy.
No, it is. I mean, a couple of things. I mean, I want to stop and just say this. So when Nick said they bought 33,000 leads and funded 4,500 loans, what I can tell you, even last year, and we know their numbers, they have some of the highest conversion numbers in our platform. And actually, I think the highest in a lot of categories. 5% is probably more on average of a funding rate. So a lot of lenders last year bought 33,000 leads and would have funded about 1,600 loans, not 4,500 loans. So I can just tell you right off the bat, they do things very different and, they're efficient. And that's what I think this all adds up to. It's these little bits of efficiencies. It's making sure that you get all the business, even if they don't buy today, making sure you get all the business that people are buying today, making sure you get all the business when they buy again, right?
Yes.
How do you manage that? And I think, using, the real-time automation is impactful. I mean, you can see in their numbers that it works.
But this is so, but even to unpack it and go deeper, because Josh, I love, you and I love going deep into topics. So and so do you, Nick. And so let's go deeper into this topic. Nick and the Homestead team is saying, we spent money on those 33,000 people. They are our customers, but how are we able to serve them if we aren't there for them when they may need us? Because they may have raised their hand, but they weren't ready. They raised their hand for interest, for questions, for understanding what they should do, maybe some little guidelines, guidance, maybe planning, maybe road mapping. And so the fact that a lot of lenders and a lot of you, hey, put into chat, guys, if we're talking to you, it's okay, just be honest. If we're talking to you, if you don't close a deal, they're dead to you. Tell us that, because look at the other side of it. Josh just said on average last year, people would have closed about 1,600 of those 33,000. 40, I mean, it's significantly higher. And it takes a mindset. It's not just technology. It's a mindset that these people are our customers and we want to make sure that they become our customers. And so we're getting them into Insellerate. We're making sure that we're automating touches. We're making sure we are giving our originators technology that multiplies their efforts, right? I'm one person, but with the right technology like Insellerate, I am now 4 people in one human body, right? Because this is happening on my behalf. This is responding on my behalf. This is reaching out on my behalf. And then Sales Boomerang is adding another whole layer that says, look, these people weren't ready. They're in this automated system. Hey, your database, your customer base now refers you an opportunity. Instead of you buying outside, your customer base is referring you an opportunity. So I wanted to dig in on this a little bit because I think this is one of the most important pieces we can cover today is the mindset that if someone doesn't do a loan with you, that they're not a customer.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I think I want to kind of give a little story. So some people here are watching know, but as you guys know, I've been in the industry for 23 years, and I was a lender up until 2018. And to kind of give examples of how this is in real world, we funded about 11% of our leads, similar to what Nick's team does. But what we would do is we would look back over a 12-month period and say of all the people we spoke to, and when we had really good convergence of all the people we spoke to, how many actually did a loan? And you can do that. So about 30% of the people that we spoke to in a year did a loan. We got about a third of it. And so it told us we're really good, and told the loan officers, I know you guys think you get every deal that's out there, but we're getting 1/3 of the business of people that do refinance or do purchase. So there's a lot more out there that we're not getting. And I think if you're a lender, if you did your numbers, you'd see the same thing.
Yes.
You'd see very similar. You're going to be getting a third or less of the business of people you spoke to. So that's either you're not following up with them in 6 months when they decide to buy, because that's what happens. I'm getting information today. I think I want to pull in the back. I want to put a pool in the backyard. I think I want to move. I'm not sure. I haven't found the house. Don't know if I want to put the pool in the backyard, whatever it may be, but I want to just find out what it would cost me. And you start poking around, and then you know, depending on who you are, all consumers buy different ways. Some people buy immediately. Some people, for me, it takes a long time, right? I have to think about things and see it over and over again. I'm a long processor. Some people aren't, right? Everyone does it differently. So you have to have strategies to match all those things, right?
Yes.
I think that's the beauty of it, is having the intelligence of whose should you be reaching out to, then having the ability to say, how do I want to reach out to them? What cadence and in what fashion? I think is where, there's a lot of power in that.
I think you're making a great points, and it's prioritization is so key. There's a lot of time spent, maybe wasted time, chasing conversations and hoping, right? We all know hope is not a strategy, but hoping that this borrower is in the right place to make a decision where you can eliminate the chase and eliminate the hope and be very prescriptive, very purposeful with how you outreach, where your team spends time. And I think especially in the environment that we're in today, it's so important to prioritize. 2020, 2021, you guys, many of you were just saying no to people because you didn't think they had the value that you needed from them to get the deal done today. Now we're all like, oh my goodness, I wish I would have spent some more time with them because I would have gotten that deal too. And we're in a place now that we're doing that. So it's important to do those things. So Nick, I love this question. I love that we have spam on the screen. How can mortgage advisors, and this is important, guys, you'll notice that we don't like to use loan officers. We want to actually have a whole thing about death to the loan officer and life to the mortgage advisor, because we should be giving advice. We should be servicing, not selling, right? So how can mortgage advisors adjust their outreach practices to really better cater to the unique needs of the borrowers? Like, what would you recommend, Nick?
Yeah, I think that we're coming to a world where we're getting smarter and there's more intelligence, and you want to have your conversations be a little bit more pointed. Think about it in the context of Sales Boomerang. In the consumer direct world, we all have our marketing cadences, right? We're going to hit people kind of harder at the beginning. We're going to kind of trail off. We're going to do this or that. And we focused our marketing on purchase or refi or this or that. But now let's talk about the hand raising that Josh was talking about. People come back. They don't always raise their hand on day one and do a transaction on day two. Sometimes they do it on day 7. Sometimes they do it on day 30. Sometimes they do it on day 40. So you have to have the technology in place that you can give them real-time marketing or automation or advisor, kind of reach out on their own phone call or text messages when they want to talk about what they want to talk about. So if we want to talk about Sales Boomerang, mortgage inquiry, maybe I got a piece of data in 30 days ago. I have it in Sales Boomerang. They tell me, hey, they had their credit pulled for another lender. So do you know what I want to do? I don't want to send them an automated piece of marketing that's on a refi cadence or that's on a purchase cadence. I want to pick up the phone and say, hey, I know that we haven't talked in a while, or we did talk and we're talking about a product. Seems like you're ready to go. Let's talk about what I can do to try to get you to do a loan with our company. So, that's going to have a greater impact than just putting them on an automated cadence. But you need to know, if you're not using this technology, how do you know? How do you know that they just listed their home for sale? How do you know that they've been, on a website like realtor.com 10 times in the last week? You need to know these things so you can have the conversations that are meaningful to the borrower. Because if a conversation is not meaningful, think about it on your phone, on your email. You buy a product, they send you email after email after email. If it's not a product you want, if it's not an offer that you want, if it's not something that's on the top of your mind, it's delete, 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 delete. So I don't want to say, hey, haven't talked to you in a while, you're still thinking about purchasing. I want to say, I know you're thinking about purchasing. I know you're ready to sign a contract. Let's talk about pre-approval. Let's not talk about a lead form.
Yeah, I think that's so important. And that's why I pulled up this quote from you from a case study we did, which, by the way, we'll post a link in this chat to the case study. Awesome case, really worth reading, really worth sharing with people in your team. But you said, with Sales Boomerang, you really can paint a full picture of who the client is and how to best approach an opportunity. And I think that's exactly what you're referring to now. And I want to hear from you guys in chat. I need you guys to wake up and give us a little bit of feedback here. Look, do your loan officers, let me rephrase this, do your mortgage advisors, does your team of mortgage advisors feel confident in picking up a phone and calling someone? Or do they often ask you, what should I start with? What should I say? Where do I begin? Why am I calling? Let me hear from you guys in chat. Do you hear from your originators, from your mortgage advisors, that they don't know what to say when you ask them to call people? So give me some feedback on that in chat. And then the other thing I'd love to hear from, and I'd love to hear from you, Josh and Nick, on this is, Josh, you probably have the exact statistics. How many people is one individual mortgage advisor talking to on a daily basis?
Well, let's start with a couple. So first, depends on who that is. Mm-hmm. Which lender. I can tell you that some call centers, they're consumer direct. I would say you're spending 3 to 4 hours a day on the phone. Mm-hmm. So that can be, potentially 10 to 15 leads, new leads that you speak to in a day that are anywhere between 3 to 45 minutes. And then, kind of so forth. So the numbers are high. So I think what you're saying is right. You have to paint the picture, but I want to say one other thing about that, which is, Nick, is, and you said it, and I like to say this, having the data is powerful, but you have to make it actionable. Mm-hmm. Right? So having a tool where you can actually serve up, hey, here's your prioritized alerts. Here's your Sales Boomerang alerts, right? So Nick's team has queues that serve this up and tell them, oh, I need to make a call to this one, or I don't make a call to this one. It really is prescriptive from, if I'm not calling it, we know the system's texting it or emailing it or Facebook post into it or all these different, strategies. It's making all that actionable, right? Making sure it's automated and it's actionable. I think that becomes huge when we're talking about, what you do with it, how you become successful with it. Because if you just rely on a loan officer and you say, hey, listen, every time you get an alert by email, you should call them. I bet you if you test it, you probably would see 20% or less of those leads probably get called. And you did ask about a survey and a stat, which I could, if you want, I could share, which kind of some of the stats now, which would be just to give the whole industry an understanding. We've done a contact study survey for 4 years, and we go to websites online and we apply for a mortgage, whatever the website has, however it is. And I go in there and you say, how long you ask for a mortgage. We then timed, do they call us, email us, or text us, or how they respond? Some high level numbers, 40% of lenders never responded to a single inquiry.
That's amazing.
0. So, I mean, those lenders are really going to have a hard time right now winning. Now, the average lender, only 53% followed up more than once. It was like 1.3 times. Wow. So the truth is, if you do this right, you can crush it. You can still do well.
So let's stop there for a second. Josh, let's stop there and really drive this message home. Everyone that's listening, listen to what Josh just said. 53% of lenders follow up 1.3 times. So if your team just doubles that, you're going to outperform the average lender. Now, I hope all of you on this call aren't trying to be average lenders. You're trying to be the best lenders, right? That's why you're here. That's Nick's attitude. That's Josh's attitude. That's our attitude here at Sales Boomerang. So just think about not doubling, think about quadrupling it, 4 touches at least. Think about what you're going to look like, feel like, sound like. You're going to set a new standard for the borrower's experience to go, hey, you know what? I like you. Like, you really checked in on me. You cared about making this happen. And that's setting a standard and expectation for the next lender. And if the next lender doesn't give them that, and every time you're engaging, you are engaging and another lender is engaging, and they call 1.3 times and you reach out 4.5 times, I promise you, 90% of the time, you're going to win that. 90% of the time you will win that. And so, this is a great, great sort of transition into this next part of it, because, the reason I was asking how many people are loan officers talking to, and I love this name, Test. It's amazing. First and last name identical. It's, the reason I asked this question about how many people they're talking to is because without technology, if I'm talking to 10 people a day, which might be more, but let's say I'm talking to 10 people a day, that's 50 people in a week. How can anyone expect any human being that has kids, work, coworkers, personal things, expect to remember 50 conversations and 50 reasons of when to follow up? You cannot expect a human to do that. You can't. And so here is where the rubber meets the road. Sales Boomerang and Insellerate work together, and I love this, and Nick, this is right to you, to automate the customer outreach. And we crossed this out because many of you wanted to seem personal. We wanted to seem personal. We crossed that out because with Insellerate, the process, the brilliance in the way that they've designed their follow-ups and the way that Nick and the team can automate cadence specifically to its customer base, they don't seem personal. They are personal. They are personal, period. With the insights that you get on each particular borrower, the message is for that borrower. It's not for a group of people that look the same. It is for Nick. It is for Alex. It is for Josh. So Nick, talk to me. Like, how has this really transformed the results that you guys are seeing?
Yeah, I mean, I think to make the touches and to make the marketing personal is so huge. And look at, to go back to kind of the last slide of how Insellerate and Sales Boomerang work together to help us. It's like, think of it this way. How do you paint a full picture of the client? How do you make that experience personal? So let's say, Josh is talking, you're talking to 40, 50 people a day. You're talking to hundreds of people a week. How do you remember anything? How do you make it personal when you're dealing with so many people? An alert comes in from Sales Boomerang, regardless of when it hit our database. It comes into Insellerate. Insellerate's going to match it up with the old file. You're going to have your notes. You're going to have your call log. You're going to have your text log. You can say, hey, this lead came in from Bankrate. I refied them in 2019. They have 2 kids because I left a note. And then you know what you can say? Instead of saying, hey, I use this piece of technology that monitors that you had your credit pulled. Let's talk about a mortgage. You know what you can say? You can say, hey, Josh, no, I haven't talked to you since we did the transaction in 2019. How are the kids doing? I'm just going through my database. I want to see if there's anything I can help you with. And you know what? Overwhelming amount of time, Josh is going to say, you know what, Nick? I'm thinking about refining. I was actually talking to some other company. I forgot about you. Let's have a conversation. What's your rate? What can you do for me? I love what you did for me last time. How different is that conversation than, say, if you're just buying like a credit trigger and you're just calling, hey, I know you got your credit pulled. Can I help you? Well, no, of course you can't help me. I don't know who you are. I don't know what your product is. I'm working with somebody, but let's remind them. Josh said maybe they did 33% of their past clients. I mean, that's a pretty good number, but like, that's not great, right? Like, you want to do 100%. How do you get closer to 100%? You do things like this. You make sure you reach out on time. You have some scripting, you have some personal touches, you go that extra mile. And it's not just, hey, I make 1.3 contact attempts and then I'm out the door and then that piece of data is gone, or it's living somewhere that gets, 2 pieces of automation a year and that's all I'm doing. Because you know what? We're doing it. A lot of our competition is doing it. After this call, you're all going to be doing it. If you're not doing it, what a disadvantage that puts you at.
Nick is like, don't do it. It's okay. I'll take care of it. But again, listen, everyone in the audience, listen to Nick's position on this. He didn't say, I want to get at least twice as much as he said 100. I want 100%. That way, if he fails and gets 80% of them, he's still 10xing everyone else in the industry, right? And so that mindset is so key. There's a lot of people in that are okay with being okay, right? And that mediocrity creates the experience that a lot of borrowers get. And then you have organizations that say, no, we're not here to just do loans. We're here to engage with our community, with the people that trust us to not do a transaction, but actually maybe advise them on how this financial vehicle can create wealth for them. Josh, I think I've heard you say this many, many times, and you're probably one of the biggest experts of this, understanding how wealth can be created through real estate and through and using proper mortgage vehicles. is it too far-fetched for every lender to think like Nick is thinking?
I mean, I don't think well, it's far-fetched that every lender will think that way, right? That's far-fetched, but it's not far-fetched for people to think that way. And let's say, right,
Love
you know,
that.
you
Great
should
answer.
think that way, but not everyone will. Like, it shouldn't be a leap for someone, but that is the reality of it. You have to have that mindset of, how do I constantly improve constantly? How do I constantly improve? How do I constantly make something better? Because, you know, you can't be complacent. You know, I think about restaurants. And I always say, one day I'm gonna open a restaurant. Everyone thinks it's crazy to open a restaurant. I said, no, I think it's pretty simple. Think about the restaurants that are always busy. They have good service, their food's good, comes out on time, the people are nice, it's clean. It has some, I mean, there's not like, it's not rocket science, but they're constantly doing things like making sure the tables are clean, making sure there's ketchup at the table, whatever it may, like these small little things. At some of the restaurants you go and you sit down, it's like, this ketchup has to be 10 years old, or, you know, for breakfast or whatever it may be. And it's just not where you want to eat. Well, they don't do well. So think of it that way. You know, you have to constantly be thinking about, you know, you're in the service industry for the mortgage industry.
Yes.
Just like a restaurant, you're in the service industry, not food services, just financial services. So people are paying you for some type of service. So you have to give them good service if you want to get as many of those 100% of the people as you can.
So you're saying something very, and I love that you brought restaurants into this, because I was just saying this in another conversation. I forget the chef that I spent some time with over about a month and a half ago in New Orleans, 2 months ago. Forget his name right off the top of my head. Maybe we'll post it. But he said something brilliant. He said, service is anticipating what your customer wants. That's what service is. If you have to ask for water every time, you have to ask for utensils, you have to ask for the dessert menu, you are not having people come back to you. One of the best chefs in the world says, great service is anticipating what your customer needs or wants. That is the combination that Nick is talking about. That is that personalization that we were just talking about. This piece right here, the full picture. When you have the full picture, you can anticipate. When you have automation and it's automated based on what's best for your borrower, you can anticipate. One of the things everyone wants to become is a predictor of when somebody wants to do a mortgage. Well, I will tell you right now, I will take preferred over prediction all day long. If I am your preferred option, then I don't care who's marketing and trying to predict when you're going to do something. You're going to be getting an advertisement from a competitor and go, oh, Nick is my preferred option. Hey, Nick, I got this thing. Is this like legitimately for me? And Nick will be like, no, that's for the broad public. You're in a way better position already. You don't need that loan, right? But when you're preferred, who cares if people are predicting that you're going to do something? You want to become preferred. And how do you get preferred? How do you become preferred? You become preferred by anticipating your borrower's needs, your customer's needs, and getting to them before they go to the market, because they should know that you know that as an expert to them, as a financial friend to them, you are going to give them the outreach first. Hey, here's what I just got a notification that this is best for you. Here are your options. How do you feel? Right? And you're no longer selling. That's just a service question, right? You're just serving and servicing the relationship instead of I got to tell you something. My doctor, my mechanic, any professional services I use don't have to sell themselves to me every time I call them. But this industry and all of you are creating a self-fulfilling prophecy by trying to sell yourself every time. You don't have to do that if you do a great job up front and then talk about the anticipation of what you're going to do for them next. But you can't just talk about it. You need systems, you need technologies, because one person has to be like 4 people today, and they can't do that without technology and support. And so I want to go to this again. This is right out of the conversation for the case study. And then we have a really, really cool, hard-hitting question coming up, guys. Really cool poll question. So I can't wait to throw that on screen for everyone. But just to read this, I'll read, some of it. Maybe I won't get into all of it. I would encourage all of you to read this and actually go and download the case study. And you just saw in chat a really cool white paper on how to become your borrower's BFF. This is all part of it. This is all in the hopes of you anticipating what your borrower needs, your borrower understanding that you're going to anticipate it, and then they can ignore things. And when something comes up, they can come to the person that they trust. Not, let me just call and find, hey, yeah, hello, Quicken, let me find out what's going on. And by the way, I like to say this too. We talk about it, advice over price, and we talk about that rates shouldn't always win. And rates shouldn't always win, but for some reason, Quicken continues to win. It's because of intelligence and follow-up in systems. Josh, would you agree with that?
I would. And it's not because of rate. And if you actually said, you brought up Quicken, I think it's a great example of everyone's your customer. You know that when they do that Sweet 16, you can win $1 million, or they have all those big raffles. They do that so they can put everyone in the country in their database and market to them. Everyone's their customer. So think about it. They want everyone to be their customer. And so the whole country, put your name in there and you can win $1 million, but guess what? They're going to follow you and market to you when they think it's appropriate. I mean, that's a great example.
Beautiful. And right, perfect into the quote here. So Nick, this is from you talking about how you were getting notifications and you didn't have an automated system. And then as soon as you incorporated it in Insellerate, just the numbers skyrocketed, the results, the responses, because what you've done, Nick, and again, I want to hear your thoughts on this directly. What you've done is you turned an individual mortgage advisor into 4 mortgage advisors, 8 mortgage advisors by turning on Insellerate and giving them the automated support that they need. Let's speak to that. And then we have an awesome question coming up.
Yeah, so I think my favorite thing to talk about when we do these things is that any piece of technology in the industry, Insellerate, Sales Boomerang, all of this stuff just works. Whether you customize it, whether you build out these intense workflows, whether you build out automation, they work. The beauty of them and what I love about them is I can do anything with this. Whatever automation I want to set up, whatever call cadence, whatever follow-up cadence, and I can make sure that my loan officers don't miss anything. They're getting every alert. They're getting a notification to call. They're getting a piece of automation. So if they do miss something, we're still hitting the borrower. And then as a manager, I can track all of it. Who's making their calls? Who's not making their calls? What pieces of automation's working? And then, if you work with Sales Boomerang, Alex will give you 2 reports at the end of the year if you want them. They'll give you a conversion report. How many of these alerts did you convert? They'll give you a loss report. How many of these things did you lose? Then I can go back into CRM and I can say, okay, we got this many, we lost this many, these people got these people didn't. What are we doing? What are the strategies? What are the strategies that are working from a management automation side of it? What are the strategies that are working on a personal side of it? And then we can always revamp, right? I can call Josh, Josh converted 15% of Sales Boomerang alerts. I can say, Josh, what are you doing other than what we set up? Where can we augment the automation with some loan officer best practices? And without having all of these things kind of tied in together, it's hard to know. If I just have Sales Boomerang, you can give me numbers, but I don't know what Josh is doing differently than what I'm doing different and why his numbers are higher. You pull that into CRM, I can see every mouse click, I can see every call, I can see every text, and then I know who's good at it and who's not so good at it, who needs some help. Let's put together some focus groups. Give me the top 5 lenders or the top 5 loan officers. What are you doing? How can we help the bottom 5? And we can all constantly be learning and adjusting all the time. So having that transparency and the data to really get to the best practice for each system and for each system for your organization, because those are definitely going to be different too.
So Nick, this is why I love having these calls with you and you sharing this with the public. We're talking about how to win friends and influence pipelines. Okay. Everything we've just said is to get your borrowers to be your friends. Friends is a mutual, it's a mutual relationship. And when you have friends in your pipeline or you've built friends, you are influencing your pipeline in a very positive way. But I want to make something clear here, guys. We are not talking to an average lender producer here. We're talking to someone that's way above average, 3xing the results that a typical lender would produce. I want to take a step back for a second. If this was basketball camp and Nick was LeBron James and Nick told you what he does, how he does it, why he does it, every one of you in this camp would go and emulate LeBron James because you want to get to that level. I'm telling you right now, Josh isn't here to sell Insellerate. I'm not here to sell Sales Boomerang to you. We are positioning a a concept, a way of thinking, and a way of acting. And we're using someone, Nick, I'm calling you LeBron James. It's a huge compliment. And here you hear from the person that is telling you it's a proven process, like 3Xing what anyone else was doing last year. Nick and the team is doing. Guys, do not hesitate after this to reach out to Josh and Insellerate and just talk and understand why Nick is using this resource and not another one. Every single one of you should reach out. Even if you have something in place, just understand the difference in what great technology partners do. Same thing with Sales Boomerang. Nick is telling you, LeBron James is telling you how to play the game best. Do not hesitate. Do not be like, well, this must be a sales pitch. Stop it. Get out of your own way. Get out of your own way. This system work, and like Nick said a second ago, it works out of the box, but you can customize it and improve your results every single month, every single quarter, every single year. And let me tell you something, Josh and Alex, we are not vendors. We are partners. The difference between a vendor and a partner is the following. A vendor will give you what you want. A partner will give you what you need. Will give you what you need. That's the biggest difference between partners and vendors. And we are partners. And so I love this next question coming up. Nick, by the way, that was brilliant. Josh, this one is going to be, this is one of my favorite poll questions that we've ever produced because it's such a hard-hitting question. Everyone on the call, whatever you're doing, I know we're late into the conversation. I know many of you are looking at your calendars and clocks and watches and phones and going, oh my goodness, I got a call, I got to go somewhere. Stop for a minute and engage with this question. Would your business suffer if your CRM was turned off tomorrow? Give us some answers. Let's go. We got 4 of you. Come on, keep them coming. Jump in there.
I'm interested to see the answers to this one.
Yes. Yeah. Are you seeing them on your screen?
I know my answer if people want it. Like, not only would my business suffer, I don't think I'd be doing this job. If I didn't have the ability to build and to market and to have the insights, I don't think I would be doing this. My job would be too difficult trying to manage and trying to, hit maximum efficiency with a team of loan officers if I didn't have these tools and have these transparencies. So not even, yes, it would. Let's go. The nuclear option is mine.
Yes, I love that. And by the way, I don't know if you're seeing the results yet. Can you see the results today? Because I can. I guess I've been seeing the results. You guys haven't been seeing the results of the polls, have you?
No, I have. I saw the last 2. I don't see this
okay,
one.
cool. Okay. So we're seeing these. Keep them coming. We have Josh, you're going to be pleasantly not surprised. There's a really good response here. Let's wrap this up in the next 10, 15 seconds. If you have an answer, go ahead and answer. By turning off your CRM, would your business suffer? We'll end this thing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom, right there. Share results. How do we share results? Like that? Okay. Do you guys see it? This is awesome. That 70% would say, yes, it would hurt my business. Do you guys see that, Josh?
Yeah, I see that.
That means that 70% of you are working with a good partner. That should be the answer. If the answer was no, it means you have the wrong partner. So 10% of you said no. Guess what? Right now, don't even wait. While we're on the call, do it right now. Insellerate.com, sign up to talk to Josh. Don't even wait, because it should hurt. It should be one of the most painful things that you go through. If your CRM just randomly turns off and you have it should destroy your business. You should feel the impact. And if it doesn't, this is a great place where you should be looking at a new partner. A little bit, 20% of you said a little bit. Again, if you're saying a little bit, that means, okay, think about this for just a second. All right, I'm going to put this into an analogy. If you're saying no or maybe a little, it's like, imagine tomorrow your internet turned off. Would that impact your life? If the answer is no, you're out in the woods somewhere, you've never used the internet. But if you are on this call, your answer would always be yes. That's because you feel a lot of benefit and value from the internet. So if you're like a little bit or no, I don't think so, you're not getting value. That's the point. You're not getting value. So of course, if it turns off, I save a little money, who cares? You should be like scared to hear that your CRM is going to turn off. So that question was really, and Josh, go ahead and jump into this.
I was going to say, I know that we have, let's say, 160 plus lenders on the platform. If our system were to go down and have an outage, And just to give you some perspective, last year we had less than 3 hours of total downtime for the system. The year before that, we had less than 3 hours of total downtime for the system. It's not something we ever worry about. But if, let's say, our system was turned off and something happened for a whole day or an hour, I would have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 calls. We would be getting, the support team would be inundated. If I want more than a day, you might find someone showing up at one of our offices or trying to say, "Hey, what the heck's going on?" Like it would be like a mutiny. So it should be important. It should be that impactful to your business because it should be driving so much of your revenue for you. Just having systems and having something in place should be really driving that top line revenue.
Well, this is a metaphor. Sorry, Nick, real quick. This is a metaphor, guys. If you say no to any of your technologies, you got the wrong partner. If you say, "Oh, if that turned off, I wouldn't even notice it." First of all, let me be the first to say, turn it off. And find a better partner. That's it. Like if you're getting zero value, stop it, right? Like go find it. But this is a metaphor for, are you equipped? Is your tech stack, Lego tech stack, exactly what you want it to be? Are your partners exactly who you need them to be? Or are they not? This is a great time to sift through that. Go ahead, Nick.
I was going to say, if some of the people that were voting that maybe it's not that important, if you happen to be retail lenders or retail loan officers and you're thinking like, I don't take leads, CRM isn't all that important, talk to Josh. I know he has a great video series coming out that he did with some of our retail loan officers, and they took a little bit longer to adopt CRM because they had their own processes. But the ones who really embraced Insellerate and embraced the things that it can do, the return that they're seeing is amazing. I haven't seen the videos yet. I heard they're great. Reach out to Josh. He can show and share some of those stories of how a retail loan officer who wasn't in CRM a lot now can't live without it and the impact that it's made to their business.
And it's the right partner CRM. Okay. It's very important. You want to choose the type of partner that is going to be in line with your goals, with your initiatives. And you want a partner that will push you, that will not just say, "Oh, you want that? I have it." Yeah. You want a partner to say, "You want that?" Josh will never say, "Okay." Josh will say, "What are you going to use it for?"
That's right.
He's not going to just go, "Okay, we'll turn it on." He will never he will say, "What for?" "Oh, for that?" "No, you don't want that. You want this." And that's what a partner does. But a vendor will literally go, "Oh yeah, we have that. Oh yeah, we have that." It's, you want to, and here's another great tip. Okay. So everybody, right, this is important. Josh and his team, they're specialists in what they do best with their technology. You want to understand that Josh and his team fit well with what your goals are, and they specialize in supporting you in your goals. If the organization that you're looking at isn't in line with your goals, then you need to choose another partner. Like it's okay. It's okay to look and figure out who the person is, the team is that will elevate me, push me forward. Continue to design. One of my favorite things about what Josh and Insellerate do is how many releases a year they do on upgrading their technology. It might be the most out of everyone in the industry. It's insane, but they're always upgrading their technology. They never get stale. They never want to wait and see if somebody comes up with something that's better than what they do. They're constantly testing things out. They're constantly pushing the envelope, and they want to improve the results that Nick is getting. That's the truth. I've seen him in numerous, like countless occasions. I can say, think about the lender and what they need and how the support for the lender is going to be to accomplish their goals. So I think it's so important that and I love the answers. And again, the three of you that said no, or I'm not sure, online right now, scheduling call with Insellerate, period. There's no reason to wait. Finally, another, go ahead.
Let me say one thing about what you said. I think the other thing you should be looking at with vendors right now is, where are you in your life cycle? Where are they in their life cycle as a company? Is their product at the end of the life cycle? It's been out there for 10, 15, 20, 25 years. Is it no longer being innovative? Or are you on a platform? Are you with a company like Sales Boomerang, who's innovative, trying to figure out how can I make my data work better for my customers? What insights can I give them and help them drive more business? Are you with someone who's trying to innovate and grow themselves, which is what you want? Or are you with someone who is just saying, I have this product, I had customers on it, they're on it, so I'm just going to keep selling this because people buy it, and I don't really do any releases, and I don't really upgrade my technology. You want to be with the same companies that are trying to innovate and win as well. I think you want to be, those are the companies we want to work with. We want to work with the companies who are trying to grow, who are trying to be more than average. The companies that want to be average, it's hard to work with them because they don't want to do the work.
Well, and there's organizations that you're talking about that build technology and solutions for yesterday. And you want somebody that's building it for tomorrow.
That's right.
And anticipating, right? We just talked about this. The way you're anticipating your clients' needs, your technology partner should be anticipating your needs. And there are technologies out there that try to do everything for everyone. You want to be careful for that too, right? Because then you're getting mediocrity there. You want to be able to choose technology partners that integrate together, that work with the best in breed, that work with the people that are innovating their specialties. And so all of that is important in making a decision, because again, we're talking about how to influence friends, how to win friends and influence pipelines. Influencing a pipeline really does mean having the right technology partner, having the right circle of influence for yourself that will push you to do better and better and better, and wanting to have meetings with you. I hear from some of our lender partners come to us and say, I can't get this technology on the phone. I've been trying to, upgrade, and they're not responding to me. Well, that's, it happens. That will happen, but it will not happen with great partners ever. Nick will never say that he tried to reach out to Insellerate and didn't get a call. Nick will never hear that he tried to reach out to Sales Boomerang and didn't get a follow-up back or whatever. And so it's so important, if you're going to win friends and influence pipelines, that you have the right partners to help you do that and help you do it with ease, efficiency, and scalability. It's very important. If you can't scale your results, if your results are a flash in the pan, we did well today, but we don't know how to do it tomorrow, you're going to struggle by investing over and over and over again in a thing that you should have scaled in the first place. So scalability and efficiency is very important if you're going to influence friends and win friends and influence your pipeline. We have some time for some questions. About 10 minutes here. Before we get into the questions, you can see the contact information for everyone here, because we're here for you. Like, we want you to email us. Like, Nick wants you to email him. This is not just a facade. This is for real. If you have questions, if you're wanting to understand why Nick thinks the way he thinks and what that really means, reach out. Josh, same thing. Josh, at the very minimum, you have 3 people that need your help today. And of course, I'm always available, and Sales Boomerang, if you guys aren't getting intelligence, you're not going to be able to anticipate what your customer needs. So reach out to us. If nothing else, it's a conversation, and we'll give you guys the best advice we can. But what can we answer? Who has a question about anything we talked about today regarding, influencing your pipeline and turning your customers into friends, and you becoming their financial friend because they are now looking to you as that resource? What can we answer? And while we're waiting for people to throw in some questions, Nick or Josh, anything you want to add?
Think about it this way. So we're in a year where lead costs are getting astronomical. Every vendor is upping costs, conversions are going down. So if you're in my shoes, where do I spend my money? So think about it on a per lead basis. Do I put, $1 or $2 per lead into Sales Boomerang, $1 or $2 into, Insellerate, $1 or $2 into some other companies? I don't do free ads. If they want me on their webinar, I'll do ads for them. But put it into something else. So you're stacking, maybe an extra $3, $4, $5 a lead, whether it's to have a call center, to have Sales Boomerang, to have other things contacting your leads. Do you want to spend money that way? Or do you want to pay $100, $150, $200 for a new lead? I want the intelligence. I want to know my people that I've engaged with, that have picked my brand, or they've seen my brand before. I'd rather spend $2 to know that person wants a transaction now, and now I can automate, and now I can call them in real time with a pointed message, rather than another lead that I didn't convert that's just going to go through the same cycle. How do you end the cycle? You just hope to get lucky and they pick up the phone and you have the product. Like, you got to be doing this work.
I love that.
I think what you're saying is the ROI on it. It's the most valuable, cheapest lead, best transaction, most profitable transaction you will have is that repeat business, or the person that comes back to you from a marketing cost perspective, a brand perspective, and a service level. They know you. So there's comfortability there. So, I mean, it makes you money. I think that's what people have to understand. This is a money maker. This isn't an expense. This is a way to make money.
That's exactly right. And service your customers.
That's right.
And by the way, the better you service your customer, the easier it is to make money. I mean,
And the more you make.
And the more you make it, like it's,
Right.
again, everyone on this call, just listen to this as if you're at basketball camp and you have LeBron James telling you what he's doing to be successful. That's what this is about. And again, Josh just said it, and I just want to repeat what he said. This is a moneymaker. This is a retention system. This is servicing. And the more you service your customers with as good as you can be, the easier it is to make more money, not just money, but to make more money. And we're not here as just promoting you should make a ton of money, right? Because the money you make, it's about putting it back into your team and back into your people and back into the community, right? So it's not about, hey, I'm going to go buy a yacht with all the extra money. If that's for you, that's great. But it's often taking the extra profits, because this way can be I forget what the statistic is from the Harvard Business Review, 6 to 7 times more profitable to do business with someone that has heard about your brand versus getting a brand new person. So you can take those extra profits and put them right back into your business. Hire people. You have a lot of organizations, Josh, I don't know if you're hearing this, or Nick, if you're hearing this, a lot of organizations are cutting back right now. Yep. This is a chance to grab some of those great folks that are now on the street and bring them into your company, because you have the profit to do it. A lot of people do a lot of loans, but zero profit, just and no money. So this is a way, and I'll tell you like this, if you guys, Nick, I'm going to get your phone to ring after this statement. You guys want to see an organization that has been profitable for, what is it going on, 30 years?
It's over 30 years. Never had a year where we lost money. Over 30 years.
Never had a year going through 2008, right? 7, 8, you guys continued to be profitable. If you guys want to understand an organization that is methodical and purposeful and careful, that's Nick and team. And that's why they continue to win. That's why you continue to attract some of the best talent in the industry come to you. And guess what, guys? When you attract great talent, they bring business with them, right? And that business becomes the family business, the shared business. And so I'm not getting many questions. I think we're blowing people's minds. So what I'd like to wrap it up with, any final words from you, Josh?
No, I just think that, now's the time to look at this stuff. It really, it's important for your business to really fine tune all the different areas that you're running. Agreed.
Nick, anything?
If you're struggling to make money and you're struggling to convert, don't put that money into more leads. Put that money into efficiencies, because leads are always going to be there. You can always buy them. Get more efficient. That's the way to make money, not do more volume.
Oh, I love that. Actually, I just Jen Duplessis, who's now just a speaker and motivational. Like, she has a class, she does her own thing, but she was a top producer, then over $1.5 billion or something in loans. And she goes, I would rather reach out to someone I've spoken to. Like, what did she? I think her exact words were like, put me in touch with my last customers instead of give me 3 more leads. Like, I forget the exact words she uses, but she teaches in her classes, I would rather talk to the exact same people I've spoken to before. Don't give me fresh people. I will dig into my database way more than just spending money on leads. And I forget the exact phrasing, but look her up, guys. She's amazing. Jen Duplessis. She's got amazing programs, amazing training, insights. And she was a top producer for so many years. And now she's just out there helping people with just a big focus on the human side of things. So I highly recommend it. Look, we'll wrap this up with this. Josh, Nick, you guys were amazing as always, giving the most powerful insights and actionable things that people can do right now. And I'll tell you, don't hesitate. Josh just said it. Nick just said it. Don't hesitate. We're here to talk to you guys. This is the difference in the way that some people approach this. Some people approach this and say, we want you to buy something, and that's not helping the industry. Nick, Josh, myself, we approach this as, how do we help elevate the industry? What can you learn? What can you take back to your team? What can you implement? Of course, if you want to buy our services, that's fantastic. We will crush it for you, but that's not what this is for. This is for you guys to see that there's methods out there that you can put into use. And if you can adopt Nick's philosophy of go for 100%, just go for it. If you miss, you miss, but just try it. Like, try that new philosophy. infuse that thinking into your business and come back to us, 6 months to a year from now, contact Nick or me or Josh and be like, man, that transformed the way we do business. And so thank you all again. Thank you all for coming. Great participation. Thank you for all the poll responses. Nick, Josh, I'll see you in a few days. Nick,
Yes.
Great seeing you, my man.
Thank you.
Thanks,
See you guys.
everybody.
Take care.
See ya.